All right, welcome to the Franchise Time Machine. Thanks for being here. I apologize I was not streaming last night. I had some IRL stuff that had to get done, and I was not really feeling great. And it's a good thing I didn't stream because I was still up till like 2 or 3 a.m. taking care of IRL stuff. So if I had streamed, it would have been an all nighter. Um, So yeah, sorry for not being on, but appreciate everyone's understanding in the Discord. That is how usually I will try to let people know. I don't really have any other way to let people know. So in the Discord, usually under general, I'll put out a message that I won't be streaming for whatever reason, or if I have to change the time. But the time change rarely happens unless it's the Friday afternoon stream. All right, so today I think we're going to mark the beginning of the uh, channel redemption game nights in OOTP26. I'm not going to do the official test for creator roster yet because I do want to do this player generation test. It's very different in OOTP26. And it doesn't seem better or worse, it just seems very different. The quality of the team we got was still just as good. It didn't necessarily look as good from a star perspective. A lot of the picture profiles were very diverse, unlike what we started seeing towards the end of last cycle. But looked a lot more like the pictures that EVC had when EVC and NYC set the record that stood for almost the entire cycle until Smiley Face Jane broke it on the very last try of OTP 25. And in fact, let's give a shout out to EVC and NYC too. Not just because we mentioned that he was the longtime record holder in creator roster in PT25, but because he won PTCS on Saturday. It was amazing. Um, I believe it was his silver gold team. I could be wrong there. Um, in fact, we could jump in on one of my teams that played silver gold, and he won Gilver. Okay, so my face Jane confirmed that. In fact, we should just jump in and check out the tournament tree, and we can watch his path through the tournament. But he streamed the entire time. I think over 12 hours. It was awesome. And then the mothership, of course, streamed the finals, and so it was fun watching him watch his team on the mothership. But yeah, it was great, super fun. Couldn't happen to a nicer person. Uh, in case you don't know, he runs the theme teams for everybody, and while it is easier now because OOTP made it easier for him to manage the friends list for all of us so that we can all have as many theme teams as possible in each league so that we're not competing against non-theme teams. For at least a cycle and a half that I was playing, he was doing that manually using an Excel spreadsheet, and it seemed like it took up his entire Sunday. And he does it for for the love of the game and for the community. Like he does so much for all of us, not just theme teams, but he has the great guest the set stream, his Ripapacapalooza, um, just always making the game interesting and having fun streams. And so it was really great watching him win a PTCS. That was awesome. I think I mentioned in chat somewhere that the only way it could be better is if we get a PTCS where the championship game is Laptop Hound versus EVC. That would be awesome. Because they're great. They're both great streamers. They're both really, awesome to the community. And they also have their little friendly rivalry going on. So to have both of them in a PTCS final would be amazing. But anyway, EVC, that was awesome. And we can check that too. So a couple of things. Let's see. I wanted to show before we jump into this is here first. Let's do this. Yeah, we're doing Force for Trades today. The test run, the official test run. But before that, I was talking about EVC winning PTCS. That was fantastic. All these acronyms. EVC and NYC2 is one of our great OOTP affiliate streamers and is a Twitch partner. He puts on a great stream whenever he's on, so check him out. And PTCS is the Perfect Team Championship Series, which is each roughly month or so within various categories of tournaments that you can play. The top 128 players in each category are put into a tournament where we compete against each other. And it's super fun. It's really tough because it's, theoretically the best players and the best teams in Perfect Team. And it's 128 teams. It's a gauntlet. And so for anyone to win it is impressive. And Smileyface Jane is in the chat. Smileyface Jane has won a PTCS. Kitty Poo Poo, who is in here sometimes. I think Kitty Poo Poo's won one. And now EVC's won one. So this happened, not super impressive because it was just low bronze. But one of my teams won the low bronze World Series. So that was cool. Let's see. We won game 7 2-1. I think I grabbed the tree. Yeah, here's the tree. So we were, let me go back here. We were actually we had the best record in either league, 111 wins. Mostly just from finishing missions. I think that's how this team, I built up the roster. And before you think it's some, stacked sandbagging team in low bronze, my leading hitter was Jeff McNeil. So this is by no means a stacked team. Now, I did have my Diamond Hall of Fame Choice Pack, Tim Raines. He did very well. Javier Baez also led the league in home runs and RBI. But again, it's Javi Baez. It's not Otani or Judge. So this is by no means a stacked team. Yeah, you can see I've got some bronzes, some golds. I do have perfect Lonnie Smith, which is a lucky pull, I believe. I have a gold card leading the league in home runs and RBI. Giambi was a late add. I think I added him down the home stretch. And then we played almost as many games as you can. So, of course, the wild card took us the distance. There's a meme basically that if you had the best record in your league, you'll pretty much lose to the wild card. But survive the wild card in the best of 5, going 5 games. Went 7 games in the league championship series. So no rest for 12 games, and then but managed to beat the Richmond Rebels 4-2. So that happened there. And then something interesting also happened. Let me pull this up. This was pretty fun. Let me switch over to the game. Okay, so this is the daily yada 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 perfect draft. Won 3 diamonds packs by finishing in first place, but that's not the interesting part. The interesting part is one of my alts was the other finalist. And I've said this before, Clay Dog knows this. I am not good at regular perfect drafts, but this is a double PD, which means I get 2 cards in every round. I am much better at the double PD. And as evidence, I finished first and second in this one. So here's the tournament tree. Looks nice having 2 of my own team in there. Oh, look at this. Who did we play right here? Who is this? Who were the Fargo Freebirds? Yeah, I don't know either. They got swept in the quarterfinal. Oh no, wait. No, we didn't play them in the quarterfinal. We played Walls. We played 7 games. Oh, the Freebirds didn't make it to the semifinal. They got beat by the Jackals, unfortunately. Swept. Swept, in fact. What happened there? I was like loosely keeping tabs on this, and I did remember thinking it would be fun to run into the Fargo Freebirds. But it's a perfect draft. There's a lot of RNG in what cards you get, and then you have to make the right decisions, and then there's some normal RNG from just playing the tournament. So it really sucks. Yeah, Foxhill, I agree. Like the double somehow feels easier. I think I just feel less pressure to make like the exact right decision in each round. Nolan Network, thank you for the raid. Welcome in, Raiders. Nolan, I was watching part of your stream, but I was also doing other stuff, so I admit I wasn't paying full attention. But I was paying enough attention that I missed the end of an auction house auction I was thinking of bidding on, and then when I looked over, I was like, oh, I was watching Nolan too closely, and it ended. So yeah, tonight we are going to. Oh yeah, Nolan, no worries. Any raid is greatly appreciated. Timing, regardless. I assumed you were filling in for Ezra's. Oh no, Ezra doesn't stream on Mondays. If you just kept going, I was gonna raid into you, so it's all good. Let's see. Tonight, what we're doing is we're setting up the quick start that we will use for most of our community games. We'll use them for the historical. Well, the historical games, if they're 2024, we'll use this one. But for all of our created player games, we'll be using this quick start we're making tonight. But it takes place in 2024. Ooh, you got an early morning, Nolan. Yeah, go to bed. Tommy G, this is your first ever season in Perfect Team. You got promoted based on your pitching. This season in Low Bronze, it's your bats keeping in the hunt. Yeah. The other thing, too, is as you get promoted, you usually have to kind of keep up with upgrading your team, right? So you're not falling behind, because everyone else is also upgrading as the new cards come out. But that's what keeps it interesting. But yeah, congrats on your first promotion. But the run environment we're going to create for this, we run all of our creative player games in 2024 because it's the most recent complete season. In PT25, we ran them in 2023. So now we have all kinds of new wrinkles because we have a terrible White Sox team to consider when you're choosing where to put your team for lowball creator roster. We've got 50-50 Otani in the mix. We've got some, really good player seasons to think about. And so I'm going to kick it off by creating that quick start. And then doing the test run for Force 4 trades. For all of our community games, I keep track of a leaderboard. I always put the first rabbit out there by doing the first run, partly to make sure there are no issues with the run environment, or if it's a new game, to make sure that it kind of works the way I was hoping it would. But I keep my score up there to just kind of show people, this is what's been done. But I don't ever color code my run or anything, and then it's up to everyone else to fill out the leaderboard. Force 4 trades is a fun one too because there are multiple ways you can kind of be on top of the leaderboard. If you take a really bad team, you can focus on how many additional wins you get. If you take a team that didn't win the World Series, but you want to try to improve them to the point they can, then we have, a section of things that show, like, did you make the playoffs? Did you make the World Series? Did you win the World Series? And so I try to make the leaderboard have enough categories where both types of simulations can show up there. So today's won't be a greatest improvement one because amazingly the 2024 Mets were not totally terrible and even made a nice playoff run. Instead, this will be the kind of Force 4 trades where we're going to have fun trying to get them the World Series championship. And the premise behind Force 4 trades is you don't have to do it in 2024. I happen to choose 2024 because I've been itching to play some of the players in that 2024 run environment. But yeah, like I've done it with the 85 Mets to see if I could, win the World Series a season earlier. I've done it, and Smileyface Jane has also done it with the 62 Mets. So anyway, you pick any major league team and season. So in this case, we'll take the 2024 Mets. So within that season, I can pick any 4 teams that I want to trade with. And I get to make them trade me whichever player I want off their roster, and I can send them back whoever I want. And then we finalize the roster and we let the AI run most of the season. Now with create a roster, the building part takes a while. So I kind of limit the choices that participants get in terms of like roster building and pitching staff setup. But with this, the 4 trades part is pretty quick. And so I give them a lot more latitude in terms of like setting the exact lineup they want, setting the pitching staff they want the way they want it, and even adjusting their strategies the way they want. Those are all things you don't get to do in Create a Roster. In Create a Roster, you get to use one of the 8 canned strategies. The AI sets the pitching staff. The only choice you get in pitching is if you want to use what rotation mode you want to use, whether it's like always start, highest rested, or one of the other 2 choices, which are, I think, strict rotation and strict with occasional highest rested. That's it. If it puts your favorite starting pitcher in the 5th starter spot, tough luck. The only thing we do is we make sure if you create starting pitchers that they will get the start. They will be in the rotation. On the batting side, you have even less control. We basically just show you what you have, and we have the AI run it, and then that's what you go with. But with Force 4 trades in most of the historic games, the setup takes less time, so I try to give people a little more latitude. So that's what we'll do tonight too. I'll be changing lineups and stuff. But when I test Create a Roster, I don't give myself any advantages that I don't give other players, because I really am trying to test that to make sure it's going to work pretty well. So given the premise, there are some suggestions I have for people who play. They might seem like no-brainers, but if you haven't played before, it might not occur to you. The first couple, though, I think probably would. First is like I try to choose a fun team in season, whether that's like a team you really like or a season you're really interested in. I like that Fox Hill kept choosing the 87 Twins because he has all this data and these facts that say there's no way that team should have won a World Series. So I had a lot of fun watching him run that team through these games. T Destroyer is not a brainer, so give you the no brainers. All right. So the second one is then address your team's needs, right? Figure out what are the biggest holes in your roster and grab players to fill those holes. I think the part that's underrated is then do that while weakening your opponents, right? Whether they're teams in your division you want to nerf, teams in your league that you're pretty sure you'll face in the playoffs, or if you're even pretty sure you know who you're going to face from the other league in the World Series, maybe take someone out from their team. And then the last thing is like set reasonable expectations, which is what I like about how Fox Hill runs his 87 Twins teams. Like with this team, I don't think 24 Mets, they made a run in the playoffs. So I don't think it's unreasonable to think adding four of the best players in the majors, they can be a World Series champion. When I did this with the 62 Mets, my goal was like to make the playoffs or maybe even just to hit 500. I think it was hit 500 because back then, if you had to make the World Series to make the playoffs, you had to win the entire National League because it was before divisional play. Divisional play, I believe, started in '69. A very nice season to start divisional play in. So anyway, but I think the most underappreciated of those, or maybe the most ignored, is uh, trying to use your pick strategically to help your team while nerfing the other teams. Now, sometimes it doesn't work out. Like maybe you need a shortstop, and the best team in your division doesn't have a great shortstop. Well, then taking their shortstop doesn't hurt them, and it doesn't help you. Um, the other thing is, and each of the different historic games has a different number of players you can get. It's real tempting to upgrade a player who's like just decent, but not great. But I think a lot of times you have to resist that temptation, especially if you don't have enough picks and you have too many holes in your roster. Like you gotta go for the players where you have a big deficit, um, even if it means not taking from one of your direct competitors. So the first thing we're gonna do is let's go ahead and set up the quick start. And I always do this on stream because if people want to play this at home, I highly encourage that. Like my whole goal is to show people different fun ways to play the base game. Um, and it doesn't help if I keep everything secret. So uh, if you ever want to do one of these, you can always find the VOD where we set up the first one, and it should be there should be enough information for you to do it yourself. In fact, I've been highly encouraging of people in PT25 who set up their own quick start for creator roster and would just practice different approaches for creator roster. I know Max did that. Um, Smiley Face Jane did that, and I always, I mean, I say I encouraged it. I was very pleased it was happening. I actually never thought anyone would do it until Max did it, and I'm like, oh, that's actually pretty cool. And then once that happened, I was like, yeah, like anyone should feel free to do that. I tried to encourage that um, because it means people are having fun playing the base game. Yes, do try this at home is the takeaway here. Good way to put that, Tomato. Oh, you know what? Let's go ahead and put the pack giveaway form out. That way, if anyone has to run, you can at least participate. So let me find a good one to use here. Yeah, we do a 10-pack giveaway. Every time I do an experiment or a game night, 7 packs for first place, 3 packs for second place, guessing the outcome of the simulation. All right, so let me find an older Force 4 Trades form, and we'll copy that. Oh, look at this. It happens to be one that Fox Hill played. All right, I'm going to make a copy of this. What are we up to? Episode 316 already? Jeez. Talk Beta just got to April. Oh, Talk. Um, yes, this is your sim. Hold on, I have to look this up in Discord real quick. What is it under? Is it all time greats? Yeah, yeah. This is Tom Mado's doing a mystery Mets sim. If you did put the theme in, I haven't seen it yet. I didn't look. I've been super busy the last like day and a half. But it was great because yeah, I found it. You put it to okay. I have to make sure I don't read that by mistake because I still want to guess. Talk Mado put the roster in, the batters first, and then the pitchers, and said like, see if you can guess the theme with almost no information. And it was really fun. Like I was looking at it and I'm like thinking of some players. I did look up some of the players in BREF because the first thing I thought was, are these all players who eventually played in like a Western Division team? But then I realized that wasn't possible because I think there were a couple of career Mets in there. Like I think Ron Hodges was in there, and I think he was a career Met. And then I was like, are they all players who have at one time played in Florida or lived and played in Florida? Because the Mets farm system had a couple of teams in Florida at various levels. But then like there were some players that didn't come up through the Mets system, so I was like, oh, I don't think it's that either. It's a league. Okay, so does every team in the league though have some sort of all-time roster based on this theme, or is it just the Mets dropped into a league like the way we do our historic sims? Same theme for every team. Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about this some more. I'm resisting the temptation to scroll down further and look. Like the thing that was interesting, I guess. No, 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 Takmedo, this is fine. This is fine. um, I mentioned when I was looking the first time, I was like, it's suspicious that there's no David Wright or Strawberry or Gooden because at their positions, I think those are no brainers, right? Right field, Strawberry for sure. Third base, David Wright for sure. So it has to be some theme that excludes them. But then has like Vientos. And then I was like, okay, it has Vientos. So is it like people earlier in their careers? But then it can't be because it's got 86 Mookie Wilson, uh, and like a few other players who were not like old, but were definitely not like at the beginning of their careers. But anyway, it's an interesting roster. Anyway, I'm sorry. Now I'm staring at the Tom Mado's roster. Okay, so let me update the title of this form, and then I'll put it in the stream. And I like to update them in the stream, partly because the chat tends to catch mistakes I make, but also So you know what questions are coming, and you can ask clarifying questions or help me know how to reword things so they're not confusing. Okay, so this will be franchise time machine test force for trades. Let me put this in the stream. Okay, so the body of this is still from when Foxhill played. So I'm just going to start writing a new version. I will be testing a community game that I created called Force 4 Trades. We played it in OOTP25, and tonight will be its debut in OOTP26. The rules remain the same. Choose any MLB team and season. We'll do the 2024 New York Mets. I should say an historic season, so no one picks 25. Select 4 other MLB teams to trade with you, to TBA, to be announced, and then force each team to trade you a player of your choosing, and then send back any player you want. Okay. So you have to pick 4 teams. So each one can only be forced to trade with you 1 player. Hold on a second. I got to do something over here. Okay. And then we'll look up the actual 2024 Mets record to put in here. It'll help inform your guesses on how well or poorly this team will do. I think we can delete most of this now. I think we should delete this whole thing. Okay, so the original 2024 Mets. Let me pull up a baseball reference for that. Mets. All right, so the actual 2024 Mets 89 and 73 in the NL East. Finishing 6 games behind the Philadelphia Phillies and tied with the Atlanta Braves. Okay. Now for this, I'm going to grab the language from a more recent form because it has the tiebreaker language I want. Oh. Okay, I have to open up another form then. I didn't realize I closed all those windows. Alright, let me grab another form that's more recent. Perfect. Okay, so from this one, I'm going to grab the last 2 paragraphs, which are explaining how we determine the winner and the setup. The difference is now the tiebreaker is how many of the quantitative answers you get right or that you are closest to getting right. Whereas before, you could win by just getting the first one right, but they're in no particular order. So, someone could win just by getting a random answer right, which wasn't quite as satisfying, I think, as tallying them up and seeing who gets the most right. So we're going to do that from now on. All right, let's see. We're not doing 100. The 1620 game season is for we do an experiment, so we get a bigger sample size. We're not doing that tonight. It's 162 games. No injuries, no suspensions, personality off, chemistry off, morale off, development off, and auto calc off. Now this doesn't really matter because we're just moving players around within the league, so whether the modifiers on or off should not matter. And then AI will be in charge once the trades are made, lineups and pitching staffs are set, and strategies are selected. So once we're in season, the AI is going to do everything. Okay. So here, OOTP26 login ID. Just a reminder, this is case sensitive, and if it's incorrect, it will either delay you getting your packs, or you may not even get them if we can't figure out the right player ID. And frankly, I don't want to put that on Nicolino because they're busy enough. Who tried a ball? Good seeing you in the chat. If you can hang out a little longer, we'll finalize this pack giveaway form, and you can fill one out if you have to run. You don't have to be present to win, so you can go ahead and submit one. All right. Will this team make it to the playoffs? Will it make it to the World Series? Will it win the World Series? You know what? Let's go back to the context here, because I should probably put in here that... Let's scroll back up. the 2024 Mets beat the Brewers 2-1 in the NL wild card. Beat the Phillies 3-1. In the NLDS, and lost to the eventual World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers 4-2 in the NLCS. All right, that's a little extra context. They weren't just the 89 and 73 team. They did make quite a run in the postseason that I think is worth mentioning there. Okay. That also is important context, I think, when you're thinking, will this team make it to the World Series? Will it win the World Series? Will a player on this team win the Cy Young Award? Will a batter on this team win the MVP? I have changed the settings so pitchers cannot win the MVP. I'm going to have to reconsider this when we get to a season when Ohtani is healthy enough to pitch, because clearly he should be eligible for the MVP. But in this season, I think he'll only be DHing. So I think we don't have to change this back. How many regular season games will this team win? What will be the highest WAR generated by any of this team's players? Now let me give you the actual WAR leaders here. On the batting side, it was Lindor. And on the pitching side, oh wow, that's sad. The highest WAR was a 3. Is that right? Did I just sort the wrong section? Or I mean, it probably is right. Yeah. All right. Sean Manaea with a 3. Okay. What will be the regular season batting average of a player who leads this team in batting average? That would be... Oh, and it's minimum 300 plate appearances. So Jose Iglesias just missed out. He hit 337. Lindor hit 273. Okay, what is the regular season ERA of the pitcher who leads the team in ERA? And that's minimum 100 innings pitched. So that would be David Peterson with a 2.90. Oh, look, I don't have to change the number. Awesome. And then we're going to add some questions here. We're going to add who's going to hit the most home runs. How many regular season home runs will be hit? Player who leads this team in home runs. And who is the actual home run leader? Alonso with 34. And then how many regular season strikeouts will be thrown by the player who leads his team in strikeouts. And the actual for that was... It's not going to be very high, I don't think. Yeah, 184. Also by Manaya. Okay, we did batting average, home runs, and then we'll do... We did WAR, batting average, home runs, and then we'll do OPS. Regular season OPS of the player who leads this team in OPS. And the actual OPS leader was... with at least 300 plate... Oh, minimum 300 plate appearances. That's Lindor with 844. 0.844 Lindor. And let's finish that with whip too. Not whippo, whip. And by leads the team, I mean lowest whip. Minimum 100 innings pitched. And the actual whip leader with at least 100 innings pitched was Manai again, 1.084. Okay. We already did OPS. Yeah, okay. We have that up there. So, let's see. Games won. This will be used to determine first place. Just weird. That's the last question before the new tiebreaking method. If someone does get closer than everyone else on this one, we will be done. But if there are more than 2 or more, then whoever's left will then go into the new tiebreaking method of whoever gets the most right. Right being closest. You can be way off and still be right if you are the closest. It has happened before. Alright, am I missing any fun categories? We're not going to do stolen bases, I don't think. WAR, batting average, ERA, home runs, strikeouts, OPS, whip. I think that's pretty good. And it should give us a pretty good shot of breaking any ties. Alright, so let me put the game up while I publish this form. And I will share it in the chat. If I could find my chat window. There it is. 10-pack giveaway. Oops. That was the wrong. I copied the wrong thing. That was part of the form. All right, let me go back. I thought I had copied. Copy. Let's try that again. I wonder if I'm in it's Met's actual 24 record. Oh, is that wrong? Hold on, let me go back to that. Well, it's up here in the top. It said the Mets went 89 and 73. You think I should put it here too? I'll put it here too. I can put it here too. Okay. So we need a new link anyway. So oh yeah, if I'm in mod, if I moderator mod mode, can I delete this message that I just put in there? Or can I not delete my own messages? I probably can't. Okay. Link to form for tonight's 10-pack giveaway. All right. Good luck, everybody. Let me pin that to the chat. All right, yeah, so I think we're good to go. We can go ahead and set this up. All right, so let me see how we're on ads, by the way. So I don't want the ads to roll during the setup because I want people to be able to do this on their own. Okay, ads are going to start in 6 minutes. So let's do this. Let's run some ads. I'll go refill my water and stuff. And then we'll start the setup. No. You can submit your form anytime before we start the sim. You can wait to see. I just put it out there early in case people have to run. They can do their best guess, but they'll do it without the benefit of seeing, who we're pulling in and stuff. But at least they have a chance. So yeah, you do not have to submit until I will tell you when the deadline is. But if you have to go, then you got to go. Fill it out before you take off. All right. See you on the other side of these ads. Good luck with the forms if you're going to fill one out before the setup. All right, I think the ad roll is over. We are back. And that was the first full ad roll in a long time. I guess the ad inventory is back up. All right, so here's how we set up the quick start that we use for all the creator roster games and then any of the historic games that take place in 2024. And we use the same approach for any historic games that take place in other years. We just have to do it from scratch because we're in a different run environment than 2024. So, new game. It's a historical game, 2024. Standard game would be 2025 in OOTP26. We're not going to import history to keep the file size small. And we are in the analytics years, 2024. And we're going to be in default mode. Default mode is a 1-year recalc mode. And you'll see that it's a 1-year recalc, I think, in a future screen. Replay mode is also a 1-year recalc mode, but it's much more, adheres much more closely to history. Whereas default mode gives a little more flexibility. What recalc means is at the end of each season, the game recalculates the player's ratings based on the statistics for that season. We're not going to import minor leagues, again, to keep the file size smaller. And because there are no injuries or suspensions, teams don't need reserve rosters or minor leagues to pull players from because their entire 26-man roster will make it through the season. This is where the recalc basis is. The default is 1 year. That's what we want. And we don't really care about this because we're not going to play long enough to get to the draft because this is a 1-season sim. So same with expansions, but I'm going to turn it off anyway. And then we'll go to the next page. These scouting and player ratings I'm just going to leave as the default. This will be Force 4 teams, franchise time machine test number 1. Or we'll call it VO1. I don't know how it'll handle the pound sign, so we'll just avoid it. And we are going to be in commissioner mode and cannot be fired. I'm going to copy that file name into a notepad real quick. Okay, now we are going to be running the Mets, but because we're going to use this to create the quick start, I'm not going to choose a team right now. We're just going to go in without running a team. That way when you fire up the quick start for someone else, they can pick, they're not already set up as the Mets. Okay, so we're now in the game. So everything we're going to change is in game settings. All right, first under global settings, scouting is already off. That's what we want because it'll give us 100% accurate scouting. We're going to turn off coaching. Owner goals are turned off, but we are still probably going to get bothered at least one time when they adjust our goals. We're also going to turn off storylines. Now, we had this happen in a sim the other night. Injuries were turned off. We had a story pop up that said we talked about Bob Ojeda, so they must have hurt themselves in like a landscaping accident or something. And they were going to be out a certain number of games. Well, it turns out if you have storylines on and injuries off, you'll still see the storyline, but the injury won't impact the player. But it was still distracting, so we're going to take this and turn it off. And then we go to players and team. This is where we turn injuries and suspensions off. Personality ratings and morale are already turned off, so we're going to leave that as is. And we're going to disable all the player development. We want the teams basically to end the season the way they started. Face gen, there's nothing here we're going to change. AI settings, we leave the same. Same with Almanac and database. Then when we go to league settings, this will open up a whole new set of submenus. One of the most useful is edit league structure, where you can rename teams, either their city, the nickname, or the abbreviation. You can move them around. If you change the number of teams or number of games, you can generate the new schedule here, pressing this button up in the corner. But we don't have to do any of that tonight. Under leagues and team, again, if you want to change the structure or the levels, we're not going to mess with that. Rules, we're going to leave all these the same, except we don't want roster expansion, right? Because there's no minor leagues to pull from. And with injuries and stuff off, there's really no reason to expand the roster. So we'll expand it to 26. Now, we're going to turn trading off eventually. Well, actually, let's turn it off right now for the quick start. Because for most of our games, we want trading off. After we save the quick start, we need to turn trading back on because that's how we're going to force those 4 trades. And we're going to disable, this is the default, but we're going to leave it checked. Disable automatic creation of free agents. Again, we don't want anything to change during the course of the simulation. Financials, we don't need to mess with this. It's just a 1-year sim, so we don't have to worry about contracts and stuff. Now, this is a personal preference. I don't want pitchers to win the MVP because they have their own elite award. I don't want to have to do Hall of Fame voting, so I'm going to uncheck manual Hall of Fame voting. We're going to change the importance of popularity in the All-Star vote to none. The default is high, which is accurate, but we want the All-Star vote to be based purely on player performance. All teams will be represented at the All-Star game. They will use the DH. Now, this is something, previously, the wild card was 1 game. And then during the beta, I let the folks at OOTP know, hey, this isn't historically accurate. It's actually 3-game wild card. This was for 2023, but it carries over to 2024. And to their credit, they did change it in the new release. So that's great. We don't have to change that ourselves anymore. So yeah, if you find an issue with the game and you report it in the forum, the devs are pretty good about responding. And if it is something that that would improve the game, they're pretty good about getting it into the game. So I would encourage you to report stuff in the forum if you either find bugs or ways to make the game more accurate. Okay, players, we're not going to change anything here. Historical, we don't want players retiring or missing seasons according to history. We want them to play. We're not going to import historical rookies, even though this won't be a problem with a 1-year sim, but just to be safe, we're going to uncheck that. These things we can leave the same. I'm not a big fan of adjusting the hitters and weakening them for having lower at-bats. So we're going to take this down pretty far, like 17 and 25. And I'll take this down to 15 and 5. Okay, and then this is the big one. This page is how the game creates the feeling of an era. Things like typical rotation size, whether 2-way players are allowed, the year for these settings to import, and most importantly, these multipliers. Right, so what the game does is, scale to the number of teams. If you reduce the number of teams, it'll adjust for that, but it wants you to get to these numbers, this number of home runs and this many at-bats with this many strikeouts and this BABIP, because that's what gives the feel of an era. Right? So in dead ball, this home run total would get squished way down. because, or the modifier would try to squish down your home runs because it wants the total league to hit the same number of home runs that were hit in that year. So we want the feel of the era usually. So we'll lock this in. What we don't want it normally to do is when we bring in new players, we don't want to then keep nerfing any new players we add. So I guess the best way to put it is, if you want to do, let's say, a season in 1986, you want the modifiers to make it feel like 1986. But then if you want to bring in a bunch of Babe Ruths and you leave this auto-calc on, it'll then say, oh, these Babe Ruths are going to bring in too many home runs to 1986. So we need to make everyone hit fewer home runs. And if the whole league is Babe Ruths, instead of hitting 60 home runs, they'll all hit around 20 home runs because that's what the league average would have been. And so what we're going to do is we're going to leave this check saying, okay, give me the modifiers that make it feel like 2024. But we uncheck this one saying, but don't do any more recalculation based on the players that we bring in. Now for tonight, we're just moving players around within the year, so it doesn't matter. But we are going to use this for creator roster too, and for that it's very important that this be unchecked. Otherwise our new players will be incredibly nerfed because our legend players are going to be super good. And we're bringing 4 legends in the game, plus a bunch of star level players. That would tip the scales on these totals, and it would force new modifiers to keep these from going crazy. But we want them to go crazy, so we're going to leave this unchecked. In my VODs, you can find some past streams where we test and I show how these modifiers work in more detail. But that's like kind of it wasn't super quick, but it was the quicker version of explaining how these work and why we're checking this and unchecking that. Okay, I think that's it. I always feel like I'm forgetting to change something, but I think we got it this time. Okay, now the other thing, well, let's save this. There are some mailbox settings I'm going to save, but they won't be saved in the quick start. But we're going to go ahead and make sure we do these for this season. Some of this is to make sure that at the end of the season we can see all the award winners, because some of those are involved in the pack giveaway. And then the other thing is in the manager options, we're going to minimize the times we're interrupted during the sim by unchecking these boxes. All right, so the season is now ready for us to make our trades. But first, let's save the quick start. Okay, this is, we're going to call it the, you know what? I was going to call it the credit, but let's call it game night. Standard creator roster / game night set up in 2024. Injuries, dev, personality, coaching, etc. all off. Era based modifier on and locked. Additional modifiers off. Okay. So that's the quick start we're going to use for creator roster and stuff. All right, so now let's go back and turn the trades on. Right, I wanted them off for the quick start, but we do need to make some trades here. As many times as I play this, I'm always forgetting where stuff is. Trading, enable trading. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do, and I've already done this in Baseball Reference, but within the game, let's go ahead and look at our roster. Oh wait, we're not even on the right team. Oh yeah, I have to assign myself to a team. So we're just going to take the Mets job. When you're in commissioner mode, you can do this. You just choose the team and you make yourself the manager and GM. So now we run the Mets. Right. I didn't want to do this before the quick start because then when we run the quick start, the person would already be running the Mets. We don't want that. Okay, so now let's take a look at our lineups. These are the creator roster views. These will be fine for tonight. Oh, yeah, no, wait. I want better views. We'll do. I have a basic batter split, so it has contact, power, and eye, and then versus righties and versus lefties. Now you would think left would go here and right would go here, but down here the lineups are VR and then VL, so they're in that order. VR over here, VL over here. Okay, so the defense on this team, not great, especially on the infield. Catcher defense, not great, but catcher defense doesn't seem to be too big in OOTP26 or PT26. So we're okay there. I actually like Alvarez's flat bat here. I don't think it's worth upgrading. We have other places I think we'd rather upgrade. Now we do have Iglesias that we can play for a full season now. His real life stats, and here I'll show you his real life stats. He only had 291 plate appearances, but he did 337. So we're going to have a pretty good second baseman. And we'd also potentially platoon him with McNeil. But this is one of McNeil's worst seasons as a batter. Here, I'll show you that. In 24, he hit 238. Historically, he's been a 300 hitter. Hey, skateboarding Santa. What's Lindor's defense? It's a 50. He's got 55. I'm surprised the range is so low, actually. 55 range, 65 error, 60 arm, and 60 turn double play. We get Vientos and Lindor at shortstop and third. We have a good left-handed. Well, I think it's good in real life. In this season, not so good. He had 229. Yeah, I don't know if they're just becoming harder graders or if the scale has changed. But yeah, I wouldn't have thought of Lindor as a 50. Like Vientos and McNeil and Beatty being 40s, that seems fine to me. Even Nimmo being a 50 in left seems low. I can see him being a 50 in center. Especially as he's gotten older. He used to be a really good, rangy center fielder. But I can see him being like a 50 in center and still being like a 60 or something in left or right. But him being a 50 in left seems kind of harsh. He's a 20 in center, which is brutal. So we've got Harrison Bader, though, playing center field. He's a good defensive center fielder, not too much on the bat, though. I'm surprised that Marte's ratings are so high that he's a 65 contact. Because, yeah, he had 269. It's a very nice batting average, but I didn't think it would rate a 65 contact. But anyway, he actually right field was one of the places I was going to upgrade. But if he's a 65 contact, all right. So as far as this, like the places to upgrade are definitely in the outfield. Historically, Nimmo's been pretty good, but this is a very down season for him. And Marte, too. DH also. JD Martinez, historically a pretty good DH. Right? Career 300-ish, I mean, not career 300. He's a career 283, but lots of 300 seasons. But this season, he had 235, and that's what his ratings will be based off of. So I think basically 2 or even 3 DH slash outfielders. Maybe Marte keeps his job with a 65 contact, but not getting any power from right fielder seems a little problematic. And then so then looks at the pitching staff. Again, I'll put up the creator roster. Oh no, wait, I have a pitcher split that I use. Now this I have lefty on the left side and righty on the right side, because when you look at the card, it goes lefty righty, and in perfect team it goes lefty righty on the card. Okay, so the entire starting rotation is 2.5 stars. That's not great. So originally I wanted to take 3 bats and 1 pitcher. I think I'm actually going to have to take 2 bats and 2 pitchers. But for me, the 2 bats are no-brainers. I'm going to take Ohtani. Well, actually, I guess I should do the reveal as we go through, right? That's kind of how we do it when people play. But I know one of the pitchers I'm going to take because it's a strategic pick. If you're ever unsure, though, you can go. There's this great report. Let's see. Positional rankings. Now, the default is to go by team. But then if you go up here, you can then select positional strength by positions. This is a really fun report. Every position it gives you, it ranks the players and then also ranks the prospect slash organization, right? Their minor league system, and it gives them an overall rank. Right, so the Brewers rank number 1 because of William Contreras, but because of their prospect, their organization is ranked 2nd, so they actually finish 1st in overall ranking, and the Brewers fall to 2nd. So if we were looking for a catcher, this is a good way to go shopping for a catcher. Then they have it for first baseman. Right, so there's Vlad Jr., then Bryce Harper, Freddie Freeman, Yandy Diaz, Matt Olson, so on. And, Alonso's a good example of, you wish he were better, but I'm not going to waste a trade on replacing him because he's good enough. Second baseman, originally I thought I was going to have to, but this Iglesias card, since we get to play him all season, I think we're fine at second base. Third base, Vientos, we get him all season. I think he's fine. I was a little surprised to see Max Muncy rated number 1 here. He hit 232 with 15 bombs, 852 OPS. Now, the year before, he did 36 bombs. It's still only an 808 OPS, so I was surprised to see him ranked number 1. Like, J Ram or Manny Machado, all those I would have thought would make more sense, but. And then shortstops, of course, we're good there. We've got Lindor. Now, left field, we don't have to necessarily take a left fielder. We can move players around. Oh, yeah, hold on. Yes. Some of these are really interesting. Xavier Edwards ranked 1st over Bobby Witt Jr. Now, when I thought we would have to grab a second baseman, I was going to look at Bobby Witt Jr. to see if he had second base ability, but he does not. Xavier Edwards surprisingly does not either. Tyler Fitzgerald should. Yeah, he's more of a flexible player. And then Betts should be playing everywhere. Well, no, he's just got second, short, and right this year. Okay, that's interesting. I'm glad we weren't counting on him. Does Gunnar have third? No, he only has short. Again, these ratings seem pretty harsh. Gunner's a 40. Mookie's a 40. Bobby Witt Jr. is a 40. Xavier Edwards is a 55. He's the only one above average. But this goes back to what Smiley Face Jane was saying, that the fielding ratings seem a little harsher than the past. But at the same time, it's not like I'm seeing a ton of errors. So it could just be that they've shifted the scale. That's more of what it seems like. But I'm surprised that Adamas is way down here at 12th. Considering in 2024 he had 32 bombs. Now, granted, he didn't hit very high, 251, but 33 doubles, 32 bombs, 112 RBI, threw in 21 steals, 4.2 WAR. Surprised he's rated so low. But again, left field, right field, center field, as long as they have left and right or DH ability, I think we're okay. So I'll tell you who I'm going to grab there, but I'm looking for another pitcher. Now the downside of this is, for starters, they just show one per team. They don't show like the staff or their top two or even three. All right, so Chris Sale, the top rated starter, happens to be in our division. Wink, wink. Logan Gilbert, Mariners. That HRA is a bit suspect. Skubal would be a great choice here, but he's in the AL. Then you get to someone like Zach Wheeler, excellent pitcher, former Met legend, and is in our division. Crazy high PBABIP. We know PBABIP is playing pretty important these days. Someone like Skeens might be more interesting for like a longer term sim. But yeah, I think you guys can probably guess where I'm probably going to go there. But I think these lists are kind of fun. Again, I wish the starters went a little deeper, but you get the top pitcher in each team. You can see the Mets way down in 24th. David Peterson's our best pitcher according to them, and his ratings aren't great. I think he's a fine pitcher in real life, but he doesn't translate super well into the game. I mean, 10-3, 2.90 ERA. Again, it's in limited sample size, but still a pretty good season here. And relievers, I don't know that we're gonna waste a pick on a reliever. We do have Edwin Diaz. His stuff is crazy. The rest of the profile could be better, but he's got 2+ pitches, 1 off scale, and 80 stuff. So, and I'm definitely not going to use a pick there. I have used picks in Force 4 trades for bullpen when that was like the most glaring weakness, but I don't think we're going to need that there. All right, so let's do this. Let's make our trades. First up. Oh, and this is a really nice quality of life thing here. If you go to our roster, we're at 26 players. We can actually add players. It'll let us go over 26 temporarily as long as we get down to 26 by the time we start the sim. And so that's really nice because then we don't have to keep making a bunch of roster moves. We can just go ahead and make the trades, and then we can work it all out later. Now, one thing that Smiley Face Jane was the first to do, and I never said you couldn't do it, so I thought this was a really good idea, is trading away players from the reserve roster. So then you can still keep the option of, keeping some of the active roster players on your team. And it also helps nerf the opposing team quite a bit. Like, if we trade for a starting pitcher, it's going to hurt bad when we send them Grant Hartwig in return with his 35s, or Ty Adcock, great NSFW name, with his 35, 25, 35 profile. No, that's why you have to choose 4 teams. I think it's very clear on the form. It says you choose 4 teams and then a player per team. So yeah, you can only get 1 player per team. There's a different game if you want to play something like that. There's a different game called Major League Farm Team, where you choose another Major League team to temporarily be your farm team, and you get to take 5 or 6 of their players and call them up to your team, and you send down 5 or 6 players to their team. I would think Ezra Denny would want to play that and make the Dodgers his farm team and just raid them for every good player and then send them back a bunch of scrubs. As a Mets fan, it's really fun to do that with the Yankees. Okay, so we don't have to mess with our roster yet. We can always do it at the end because they let us go temporarily over 26. It's a really nice quality of life thing. That I think was in OTP 25 as well. All right, so we're gonna do GM manager actions, make a trade. All right, so we're just gonna call Crosstown to the Bronx and the Yankees. You probably know where this is headed. Aaron Judge. Now, he can play right as well. Very good. Yes, I would have to go to a different team in this roster to get Jazz. Now, they say, oh, he exercises no trade clause. Okay, so we're going to have to use editor. And no trade clause, uncheck. So we just unchecked this no trade clause. So now he is on the trading block. And, they say there's no one that would make this work. Well, let's just see if we put, I don't know, who's our highest overall and potential player? Well, Lindor's got a big contract. Maybe, well, Iglesias is old. I mean, Nunez is a 4.5, potential 4.5 overall. He's 27 years old. So let's see if they like him at all. Invalid trade. New York cannot afford the contract. Okay, we can also deal with that. I just want to see if they would accept the deal at all. Could anything we have no players that would make this deal work. Interesting. I mean, I know the contracts are probably no good for them, but what if we offered them Lindor and Alonso? Oh, look, the Yankees like this. There's a lot to like. They would actually take. Well, it is a lot. I am giving them a lot. Oh, we'd have to give them some cash too. See, it says it's invalid because their cash wouldn't work, so we'd have to throw in like 5 million. Oh, do we have to give them more money? What if we give them almost all of our money? It's confusing because it just says New York. It doesn't say New York N or New York A or New York M or New York Y. Yeah, I just like to see like what they would take. Apparently, they would take Alonso, Lindor, and Nunez for Judge. Oh, the Yanks would have to give them money. Okay, that's the problem then. It just says New York, so it was kind of hard to tell. So apparently, if we go Nunez and Alonso, and the Yankees give us some cash, not gonna happen, he says. But he did seem to like it when we threw in Lindor. What if we throw in Vientos? Wow, he would take that. He would take Vientos, Alonso, and Nunez for Judge. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, there's no single player that he would take. Okay, so who are we gonna send back? Let's look at our reserve roster. Let's at least send an outfielder, maybe. Or how about half star 32-year-old catcher Joe Hudson, whose last major league stats were in 2020, where he hit 176 for the Mariners. I'm not even giving them an outfielder back. Yeah, there's nothing that would make that work. We're just going to force this trade. Okay, we traded for an all-star. That's an achievement. All right, so that was trade number 1. For trade number 2, maybe looking ahead to the playoffs, we're going to go to the Dodgers and grab Shohei. What will we have to give you for Shohei? Oh, Shohei, do not exercise your no trade clause, please. Oh, what no trade clause? All right, so could we make this work? Wow, not even if we give you Judge? What if we fill in Judge? Okay, so the Dodgers. Oh, the Dodgers are also under budget. That's interesting. That's funny. All right, well, it wouldn't work, but we're going to make it work. What kind of outfielders do we have on the reserve roster? Maybe 34-year-old second baseman Eddie Alvarez, 30, 40, 45, contact power and eye. That seems like a good move on our part. Their available funds this season would drop by 43 million. Oh, our available funds. What? So, I guess what does his contract look like? Did they not incorporate the deferred salary? Yeah, you're right. It's not deferred at all. Wow, it's a 3-year contract. Well, 4-year contract with a player opt out. That's interesting. He does get a nice little $280,000 All Star bonus. It's like a rounding error in his salary. All right, well, we're gonna force this trade. Traded for an MVP. That's another achievement. Now we don't get credit for these achievements because we're not in challenge mode. We're in commissioner mode. All right, next trade. within our division, bolstering our pitching staff while nerfing the Atlanta Braves. Yeah, that's right. That Judge deal did not trigger that. Chris Sale, especially with injuries off. A Chris Sale with no possible injuries. That's a very nice deal. We have no players that would make this work. What if we offered you Aaron Judge? No, there's not enough money. All right, so what are we going to give them for Chris Sale? Oh, yes, that's right. Ty Adcock. 35 stuff, 25 movement, 35 control. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, we don't have anyone who will make this work. Okay, trade has been completed. We are now $120 million below or above budget. All right, last move. There are some really good pitchers to choose from, but I think strategically it makes sense to stay in the NL East. And our buddies in Philly. Oh, Wheeler's only a 3.5 star. That's interesting. I might have to rethink this. Hmm. You say the ratings make no sense? All right, now we're just hunting because that Wheeler profile is so weird. Now, one picture that's always been interesting the last few versions of OTP. Oh wow, DeGrom's a 2 star in this. Yeah, that's no good. His 2023 profile is so good. Yeah, even this Schemes profile does not look great. It's very flat except for the stuff. But that doesn't help us in the NL East. Now, in the old days, it would. In the old days, the Pirates are definitely in the NL East, but I can't get over this. I mean, first of all, that he's a 3.5 star. I mean, I still might take him just because. What does the Phillies staff look like without him? They still have Sanchez. Presumably, they have to go to their reserve for another starter. Would it be Allard? Yeah, I think I'm still going with Wheeler, even though I don't love the profile. It still nerfs the NL East champs. I I don't think I like Sanchez better. Yeah, the PBAB and stuff are way too low. All right, I'm doing it. We're still going with Wheeler. Ratings be damned. We're still going with Wheeler. I don't have anyone you would take for Wheeler. Are you serious? Not even this Judge guy? Oh, you can't afford. What if I give you some money? Oh, I don't have enough cash. Well, I could give myself more cash because we're in commission mode, but it's not worth it to see what they would take. Okay. We're going to give you. Maybe someone off our active roster. We have to make some cuts anyway. Who's our worst pitcher? Oh, yeah. No, they're all too good to send to you. All right, so someone off the reserve. We have some tasty options here. All 35s across the board. That's pretty good. All right, I'll force this trade. All right, we're $172 million over budget. Amazing. Let's just look. If we were trying to balance the books here at our salaries. Oh my goodness, look at all these salaries. Iglesias, 31.5 million. Hyperinflation will save me, yes. Otani, no deferrals. Everything's due by 2027. Wow, these are some big contracts. Okay, now let's get down to a 26-man roster. So we have to drop 2 pitchers. Who do we want to drop? Probably McGill. He's got the lowest PBABIP. He's got pretty bad home run suppression. And he's a righty. And we've got Wheeler. Where is Wheeler? There he is. All right, so we got Wheeler, which can take his spot. And then, how many lefties do we have on this staff? 3 in the starting rotation and 1 in the pen. Now, presumably one of these is going to come out. Reed Garrett's got terrible PBO, but he's got great stuff. And terrible control. I don't know if this stuff is worth it, but... Well, let's see. Do I want to go lefty-lefty here? Or... Tonkin and Lopez are pretty flat. Lopez is flat with minus control and minus home run suppression. I think it's going to be Lopez. Okay, and then we'll put Chris Sale on the team. Now we have to make room here, so I think Tyrone Taylor's a pretty easy first cut. Okay. And we need room for one more. Look at all that blue from Aaron Judge. Jeez. 70 contact, 85 power, 85 eye. Off-scale power and eye. What is Judge's rating in center field, by the way? I'm just kind of curious. He's a 50. That's not bad. He's a 50 in center and Nimmo's a 20. Interesting. I think it's JD Martinez might be the next cut. Like, Beatty's terrible, but he does play multiple positions, right? Oh, he plays third base only, and he's terrible? So Iglesias can back up at third, but then when that happens, McNeil could start. Oh, but Beatty's our only backup shortstop. Is that right? Wait, Iglesias can play short, right? No, he can't. Wow. So we got to keep Beatty? Is that right? That's okay. We'll just cut JD Martinez. Cut JD Martinez. Now, in real life, he was injured, but did they give Shohei any pitching ability? Oh, yeah, good. This is right. He's all 20s, but his potentials are high. That makes sense because he's injured. All right, they got that right at least. That's good. Look at this batting profile. It's crazy. All right, now let's see what the AI would do with the pitching staff. Wow, they want to go 4 lefties in the rotation. I'm kind of tempted to put, but Severino's not very good, is the problem. He's even worse. I was going to say, like, maybe take Quintana out and have another lefty in the pen. You know what? I think I am going to do that. I'm going to put Severino as the 5 starter. We are going to go on always start highest rested. And then that gives us another lefty in the pen at least. All right, it's going to pull down Diaz's save stats, but I don't care about that. We're going to go stopper. Who's my righty stopper? Nunez. Stopper. And then Young is set up. I think Reed Garrett's the other setup guy then. Oh, or Budo. I could go Budo. Let's go Budo. Okay. All right. Now, what does it want to do with the lineups? Judge third, Otani fourth, Lindor second, Iglesias leading off. Vientos, Nimmo, Alonso. Let's move Alonso up a spot. I think that works. And then depth chart wise, we'll just go if tired. Okay, I think that's what we're going to go with. Like, got a lot of stealing on this team. All right, strategy. We'll just import my. Well, that's a tournament strategy, though. I don't know how well it'll work in a regular season. Basically, it's far left on all the offensive stuff, far right on most of the defensive stuff, except for playing the infield in and the corners in, guarding the lines. It's a slow hook on the starters. It's lots of matchups, less pinch hitting, and almost no pinch running. And then what we'll do is for individual batters, we'll give them some stealing green light. So Shohei's going to get a green light. What's his base running? Oh, his base running is pretty good too. Marte, you can steal, but not run the bases. '70s across the board. I'm not going to waste outs with them. We're just going to let those two run. Okay. That's it, I think. All right, let's save this. Save it as a quick start in case we want to come back to it at some point. Force 4 trades, franchise time machine, test VO1. Okay. Where are we on the next ad roll? Oh, it's going to start in a minute. Okay, so let's just fire it now. And so this is your 3-minute warning on the pack giveaway form. I will close the form after we get back from this ad roll. All right, good luck everybody. T Destroyer is already ahead of the game, is already submitted. All right, I think the ad roll, if it even rolled, is over. All right, Skateboarding Santa is about to hit submit, so we'll hold off for a second on closing the form. Thank you for letting me know, Skateboarding Santa. Keep an eye on the list of submissions here. As soon as we see Skateboarding Santa, we'll go ahead and close the form. Less time apologizing, more time submitting. All right, no problem. All right, we are going to close the form unless I hear from someone else in the next, 10 seconds. All right. Form is closed. We've got 10 of you in the pack giveaway tonight. That is the most we've had in quite a while. At least in the late night. We get quite a few in the afternoon sessions when I do them on Fridays. But for the late night, this is we had 11s and 12s late in PT25. Well, that's good. Our I guess folks are now back in OOTP26, and we have some new folks too, which has been nice. All right, here are the guesses. We'll save the quantitative guesses for later. Everyone thinks this team will make the playoffs, and the original team did make the playoffs too. I think if you're adding Judge, Otani, Sale, and Wheeler, you would hope they would also still make the playoffs after those additions. 80% of you think this team will make it to the World Series. And half of you think this team will win the World Series. 60% think we've got a Cy Young Award winner on this team. And 90% think we have an MVP. I mean, when you got Judge and Otani, and then heck, even like as backup, you've got Alonso and Vientos and Lindor. Some pretty good odds, I think, for winning an MVP. All right, well, thank you for the guesses. We'll give away those packs after the sim tonight. But now that the form is closed and we've looked at the guesses, we can go to my favorite part, which is the preseason predictions. Oh, shoot, I forgot to turn trades off. Let me do that right away. Have there been any transactions? Transaction. Where's the transaction logs? Logs. There we go. Okay, good. There have been no other trades yet, so let's go ahead and close that before someone makes another trade. Okay. All right. Ooh, thank goodness. All right, so MLB reports and info preseason predictions. Now, if these preseason predictions are not close to what you guessed, don't worry. They're not always accurate. I am very curious to know the algorithm used to come up with these predictions, though. Based on some of the games we played and experiments we've done, it seems pretty clear that it's not just doing brute force multiple fast simulations. it's it does seem to be doing something algorithmically instead of Monte Carlo style. All right, we are predicted to win 111 regular season games. 20 games ahead of the Braves. Almost 1,000 runs scored. 3.64 team ERA would be the lowest in the National League. From a player perspective, it's predicting us to have 4 of the top 10 batters in the National League. Ohtani and Judge are the top 2, and then Vientos and Lindor are also in the top 10. And we're predicted to have the 2 top starting pitchers. So here's the thing. That sale profile, and Smiley Face Jr. was getting this too. The ratings did not look impressive, but they're projecting him to be the second best starter in the league. Now, part of that is I'm sure the run support he's going to get from a team with Ohtani and Judge. But they are predicting him to have a 2.97 ERA, only 181 hits allowed. So it is a combination of run support, and they do seem to be giving him credit for a pretty good profile. So we'll see what happens. All right, now the season does start with the Japan series. So let's sim through these real quickly. The Dodgers win 3-0 despite not having Shohei. Who do they end up bringing up, I wonder? Oh, that's our lineups. I want to see their lineups. Okay, they did bring up someone because they have 26 players. Yeah, I don't know who it might have been. I should have checked their reserve before we started. It might have been hard. Well, it's mostly pitchers though. It'd be interesting to see who came over. Um, Reserve roster moves I do not think make it to the transaction log, even the complete transaction log. Yeah, so we don't know what happened after. Yeah, okay. Well, they did win that first game on a 2-hit shutout. 10 strikeouts by Glasnow, who went 8 innings of shutout ball. Phillips came in, did not give up any hits. Yeah, 1 clean inning, 16 pitches for the save. Very nice. All right. Game 2. Yamamoto on the mound for the Dodgers. Padres win 5-3, splitting the series. All right, then we're not going to have any games for a while here. Our first game is on the 28th. All right, so looks like we're off on opening day. Oh, wait. Oh, it already played our game. Bummer. Alonso had the only home run. Huh. Judge and Ohtani and Alonso hit the only home run. Judge went 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. Ohtani went 1 for 3 with 2 RBI. And Alonso went 1 for 3 with a home run. Lindor went 4 for 5. Nice. All right, I want to watch one of these games. So we have a day off today. This is game 2 of the season. We'll get to watch Wheeler pitch. That'll be nice. All right, let's watch this. All right, what do we got here? Top of the first. Wow, Milwaukee already threatening. Runners at first and second. Chury up to bat with no outs. Jeez, 2-2 count. Come on, Wheeler, pull it together. Line drive into right field, into the corner. That'll be extra bases. Well, we got that inning with only 2 runs scored, which is pretty good considering they had second and third with no outs and already a run had crossed. So, all right, bottom of the first and second for Ohtani. 1 out in a 2-2 count. Fly ball to left field. Tagging. Headed home is Lindor. Cuts the lead in half. Bottom of the second, Alonso on third for Francisco Alvarez. Fly ball to center. It's shallow, but Alonso goes. Not in time. Alonso scores, tying the game. Top of the third. Runner on first for Contreras. 2 outs, 2-1 count. Fly ball to center. It's deep. Over the center fielder's head, off the wall. And a run's going to score. RBI double. Mitchell up with 2 outs and an 0-1 count. Blooper to left is going to drop in. Runner's headed home. The throw. Not in time, but at least the trail runner didn't have a chance to advance. They did score 2 that inning, though, so it's 4-2. Bottom of the third. 2 outs, full count to Ohtani with Iglesias on second. Line drive past the shortstop and third baseman in the left field. Cut off, runner will score. All right, the lead is now cut to 1. Bottom of the fourth. Mets at it again. Nimmo up with 1 out in a 2-2 count. Fly ball to deep right center field. Center fielder isn't even going to go after it. It is gone. Ties the game up at 4. Runner on first now for Harrison Bader. Ground ball up the middle. Base hit. Second and third with 1 out for Iglesias. Ground ball to short. Through the infield for a base hit. Drives in both runners. 6-4. Top of the 5th. Wheeler still on the mound. Line drive into right field, into the corner. Churio headed for second. The throw, oh, he's headed to third. The throw to third is not in time. Leadoff triple. All right, Yelich up, no outs, 1-1 count. Runner on third. Ground ball up the middle to the shortstop. Lindor fields it over to first. Gets the out, but the run scores. 2 outs and a 1-2 count for Adames. Line drive into right center field. That's going to be extra bases. Off the wall. And it's tied. Brewer is still up. 2 outs, full count to Joey Ortiz. Draws the walk from Tonkin. That brings up Hoskins with a 1-0 count. Ground ball to second. Fielded cleanly over to first in time. Gets out of the inning, but the damage is done. The game is tied. And Wheeler will get the no decision. Ohtani drives one deep to left field. That's gone. And what a good camera angle there. Score another run in the bottom of the 6th. Top of the 7th now. The Brewers trailing by 2. Yelich up with a 1-2 count. Ground ball to first. Past the first baseman into the corner. Judge is chasing it down. Throw to second is not in time. Leadoff double. Contreras comes to bat with a 0-2 count. Oh, fly ball to deep right center field. That's going to tie the game. Bottom of the 7th, Vientos comes to bat, facing a lefty. We like this matchup. And he draws the walk. Alonso, also facing a lefty. Ground ball to third, over to second, over to first for the double play. Nicely turned. Top of the 8th for Milwaukee. Rhys Hoskins leading off with a 1-1 count. Oof, deep to center field. And that's gone. Bottom of the 8th. Alvarez up. 2-0 count. Deep to left center field. Off the wall. Should be extra bases. Center field is just chilling out when the left fielder runs over to get it. Alright, that brings up Harrison Bader. Still no outs. Runner on second. Pops it up to the catcher. 1 out, 0-2 count to Iglesias. And we're going to strand this runner, aren't we? 1-1 count to Lindor. Oh, no, it's through the infield into right field. With 2 outs, the runner should have been going. And he scores. Mets tied up in the bottom of the 8th. Oh, and the rally continues. Marte comes up with Lindor on first. And he goes down swinging. All right, top of the 9th. No outs, 2-1 count to Contreras. Game is tied. Line drive into center. Nice catch. Nice catch by Harrison Bader. He's a master at that. Garrett Mitchell for the Brewers. Full count. Draws the walk. 1 out base runner. Brings up Willie Adames. Blooper to left. It's going to drop in. Throws cut off. They hold the runners. First and second. With 1 out for Joey Ortiz. Ground ball to third. Over to second. Over to first. And they turn the double play. Bottom of the 9th. Tie score. Ohtani leading off with a full count. Oh, goes down looking. Shohei. Alonso with 2 outs and a 3-0 count. Draws the walk. Oh my goodness, that brings up Jeff McNeil. Any other season, I'd be happy to see McNeil at bat, but he did not hit well in 2024. And it's a lefty-lefty matchup. And it's a line drive into left center field. And he really told me to shut up with that one. And again, the center fielder just stands there making the left fielder grab the ball. All right. And it's a walk-off. Jeff McNeil totally shut me up. I was wrong. Jeff McNeil is the man. Even in 2024. That was awesome. Walk off by Jeff McNeil. Right after I said he did not have a good 2024. Nicely played, Jeff. All right, let's go to the standings and just sim some months here. 2-0 start. Alvarez and Lindor hitting over 700. Shohei with 5 RBIs in 2 games. He's on the pace for 405 RBI, I think. That would definitely break Hack Wilson's record. All right, let's do a month here. Oh, that was the month. Okay. March is done. 2-1. I guess if it's not Sale or Wheeler, we're going to have a hard time winning games. Which is weird because it's not like the pitching staff is that. I mean, it's not great, but Peterson and Mania are not terrible. I mean, they're not great, but they're not awful. $20-9. Chris Sale, pitcher of the month, player of the week, Pete Alonso. 6 consecutive hits by Bader. 20 scoreless inning streak by Sale. All right, let's check out this pitcher of the month from Chris Sale. April's pitcher of the month, 46 and 2/3 innings, 68. Wow, 68 strikeouts and 48 and 2/3. 5-1 with a .77. 12.9 strikeouts per 9. .79 whip. Wow, man, what a start by Chris Sale. All right, 21-9, 700 win percentage. The Red Sox keeping pace though in the AL, 21-9, and the Padres matching us with wins, but 3 games behind in the loss column. And the Dodgers, despite losing Shohei, 20-12, half game behind the Padres. Phillies, though, have suffered after losing Wheeler. They're 13-18. They won this division in the actual 2024 season. All right, let's do another month. Eight consecutive strikeouts by Ottavino. 10 quality starts by Sale, and a 9-game run streak by Aaron Judge. Oh, we're not quite at the end of the month yet. "34-game on base streak by Judge. Nice. 39-20. We are best record in the majors. We have dropped to a .661 win percentage. Who was trash talking Xavier Edwards? He's hitting .412. Was it Smiley Face Jane who was dissing Xavier Edwards as being ahead of Bobby Witt Jr. in the position rankings? Bobby Witt Jr. is not hitting 400, although Carlos Correa is 438. Shohei's got 20 bombs, but Aaron Judge is conspicuously missing from the home run leaderboard. He does have a 3 batter war, though, so he must be just off the chart here. Because why is Xavier Edwards the most valuable player in the league in a 24 sim? He's just that good. Battle of the Month Ohtani. Let's go check that out. Iglesias hitting 346. Sale was also pitcher of the month. Ohtani batter of the month. He had 356 with 12 home runs, 34 RBI, and 25 runs scored. He's hitting 317 with 32 home runs on this. Wait, he has 91 RBI in his July 1st. Holy cow. And a very nice number of runs scored, 69. 101 hits in 319 at-bats. Let's check out what Sale did as pitcher of the month. 5-0 with a 2.12 ERA. 47 strikeouts in 34 innings. He's 15-2 with a 1.77 ERA. All right, let's sim to the All-Star break. Shohei gets the most All-Star votes. And the Mets are the only 60 game winner so far, 63-33. And let's see. Alonso is now on the home run leaderboard, but still no Aaron Judge. The stolen bases are insane too. Hamilton's already at 57. Xavier Edwards is at 73. Oh yeah, Yelich is at 66 after stealing 20. All right, let's finish today to get to the All-Star break. Home run challenge. Oh no, let's see the All-Star votes first. No one at catcher, no one at first base. Iglesias at second base is third in votes, just over 3 million. No one at third. Lindor at shortstop is second to Xavier Edwards. Lindor with just over 4 million votes. No one in the left. Harrison Bader in center field, second in votes with 3.25 million votes. In right field, Aaron Judge destroying the competition with almost 5 million votes. At DH, Shohei was the leading vote getter of all the All-Stars with over 5 million votes. Hey, look at this. Oh, this is not a created player or a historic import. Normally when we create or import players, it does not recognize them for the All-Star voting. But Wheeler 10-5 with a 3.48 is leading the All-Star voting. But here's the problem. Here's Sonny Gray 6-10 with a 4.28, second in voting. Gallen also questionable with a 7-5 and a 4.76. Justin Steele at least feels legit with an 8-4 and a 3.42. Logan Webb, again, questionable 8-7 with a 4.39. There aren't better pitchers than those three to be getting votes. At least Tanner Scott feels legit. 3-2 with 19 saves and a 1.86 ERA, 54 strikeouts in 38 2/3 innings. Now Duvall has a 3.44 ERA though. 0-5 to go with 23 saves. Is Devin Williams playing setup? 26 games, 3-1 with only one save, 3.09. Who are the Brewers closing with? Oh, Trevor McGill. Okay. Wow. Okay. Aroldis Chapman, 0-2 with no saves. So he's in a setup role too, and he's fifth in votes with a 4.50 ERA. Yeah, all these setup guys are getting All-Star votes. The only closers are Scott and Duvall. The rest are setups. That's interesting. All right, home run challenge time. Ohtani is in here, as is Alonso. Okay, Aaron Judge didn't make it. All right, we got to see what's going on with Judge after this home run contest. Ohtani and Alonso both advance. Corey Seager knocks out Ohtani, but Alonso advances, beating Soto 12-5. And Corey Seager wins 12-11. Okay, let's see what's going on with Aaron Judge. He's hitting 328. He has 24 bombs. 1065 OPS. That's weird. But he didn't make the home run contest. And where was he in the voting? He was in the voting, though, right? Oh, let's look at the actual rosters. That's what we forgot to do. All right, Sale was chosen 16-3 with a 1.04 WHIP, sub 2 ERA. Wheeler was voted in 10-5. At catcher, Alvarez was selected 281 with 10 home runs. Lindor was selected 322 with 13 home runs. Okay, Judge did get voted in 329 with 24 home runs. Ohtani got voted in 315 with 33 home runs. Are the rest of the Mets batters not pulling their weight? Vientos is hitting 280 with 18 bombs. That's not bad. Iglesias is hitting 351. Alvarez playing above his level with a 281 average and 10 home runs. Yeah, I mean, the bats are there, I guess. Xavier Edwards already has more steals than stolen base leader from last year. Yeah. All right, let's finish today. Quick play the All-Star game. Shohei Ohtani is the All-Star MVP. Xavier Edwards, 2 for 2 with 2 runs scored. Doesn't care what Smiley Face Jane says, just keeps on raking. Lindor goes 1 for 3. Ohtani 2 for 2 with 2 runs and 3 RBI and a home run. Chris Sale starts the game, 1 inning, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts. Check out Justin Steele with a very efficient second inning. 1 strikeout, 5 pitches. So he threw a 3-pitch strikeout and got the other 2 batters on 1 pitch each, I guess. That's incredible. All right, let's finish out the rest of the regular season. Let's see. Alonso had a 10-game RBI streak. Team had an 8-game winning streak. And Alonso had 4 games in a row with a home run. 74-63 is .673 win percentage. The only team in the majors with 70 wins. Okay, everyone's below 400 now. Bobby Witt Jr. is now second in batting in the AL. Xavier Edwards closing in on 100 stolen bases, as is Victor Robles. Oh, there's Judge. The Mets are now top 3 in home runs. Ohtani, Alonso, and Judge. And it's still August 1st. All right, let's sim the month of August. About to hit 100 wins. 22-game hitting streak by Ohtani. 96-41 on September 1st. We've already clinched a playoff spot. No other 90-game winning teams yet. All right, we'll go to the end of the regular season. Xavier Edwards is now at 112 stolen bases. Yelich is over 100, as is Robles. Otani and 172 RBI. How many stolen bases for Otani? 88. Shohei has created the 50-80 club. And yet only has 8.9 WAR. Alright, one more game to go. Can he get to 60? Can he do a 60-80? He does! 60-80 for Shohei. Nice. Let's go back and see that box score. Otani hits bomb number 60. That's awesome. And look at it. We needed that for the win, too. When did he hit his home run? Let's see. Home runs. Otani in the second inning. So we're down 2-0. He ties it 2-2. They go ahead 4-2. We cut it to 1. And then in the 6th, we go ahead and take the lead for good. Vientos hit 2. Including a 2-run shot in the 6th to win the game. Very nice. All right, let's... So that's it for the regular season. Let's go ahead and save this. Now, do we have a game 163 anywhere? Because we didn't have our achievements show up. Oh, yeah. There's a tie in the Central between the Tigers and the Twins. 90 and 72. Oh, the season's not over yet, though. Because they're still at 161. All right, we got to watch this game. Oof, the Giants shut out the Royals. 3-hit shutout. Blake Snell goes the distance. Blake Snell goes the distance with no walks. Walk control really does not matter anymore in this game. Control 40. He goes 9-inning shutout with no walks. 7 strikeouts. All right, game 163 should be here. Yep, Twins, Tigers. And the Twins win 5-3. Now, does that send the Tigers to a wild card? Yeah, looks like they're in the wild card. Yeah, there they are. They're actually the top wild card team. Okay. All right, pitching triple. Ooh, I forgot to look at that. Pitching triple crown by Sale. Shohei, it says 40-40, but he actually went 60-80. Otani leads in home runs. Iglesias leads in batting average. He beats out Xavier Edwards by 1 batting average point. And Aaron Judge, 49 bobs and hits 343. Vientos with 138 RBI, Judge with 134, but Otani leading the majors with 173. All right, let's check out these pitching stats. Chris Sale, 2.5 ERA, 24 wins, 285 strikeouts. Leads the league in all 3 categories. Wheeler, 3rd in ERA. Manaea, tied for 2nd in wins. All right, let's go to the playoff coverage. We'll do the tree for the wild cards. Tigers win 2-1. They advance to face the Rangers. Orioles also win 2-1. They advance to face the Twins. Padres sweep the Braves to face the Mets. And the Cubs sweep the Brewers to face the Dodgers. All right, AL's going to start us off this season. Twins win 1-0 on a one-hit shutout of the Orioles. Wow. And the Rangers win 4-2. All right, NL's going to join in the fun. Do the AL games first. Oh, shoot, I didn't mean to do that. Quick play. There we go. Twins win 5-4, scoring 3 in the bottom of the 8th to take the lead. And they take a 2-0 series lead. Scooble on the mound for the Tigers. And they win 9-5, scoring 5 runs across the 8th and 9th innings. So come from behind victory in the 8th and 9th innings. Okay, the NL starts things off. Dodgers win 6-3 despite not having Shohei. And the Mets win 6-2. Two home runs by Nimmo and a home run by Judge. Very nice. Sale gets the win. Goes 8 2/3 with 11 strikeouts. Nimmo goes 4 for 4 with 2 bombs. 10 total bases. All right, game 2 in the National League. Cubs win 4-3, tying that series up at 1 despite a home run by Betts. The Mets win 3-2 in a pitcher's duel, walking it off in the bottom of the 9th. All right, NL's on the travel day. AL resumes action. Twins win 7-5, taking a 3-0 series lead. And the Rangers win 6-5, taking a 2-1 series lead. All right. Oh, it's division series, so the other series is done. That's right. 3-0 ends the series. Okay. Texas looking to close out the Tigers. Tigers win 4-3 in 12 innings, forcing a game 5, walking it off in the bottom of the 12th. Cubs win 9-6, taking a 2-1 series lead over the Dodgers. And the Mets sweep the Padres, winning 7-2. They'll get some extra rest here headed into the NLCS. All right, the Cubs-Dodgers are the only series left. Cubs lead 2-1, hoping to close out the Dodgers at home. And the Cubs win 5-4, eliminating the Dodgers from the playoffs. The actual 2024 world champions eliminated by the Cubs in the division series. All right, we're headed to... Oh, no. Oh, I guess... Oh, that's right. The days off were off. That's right. Deciding game 5 between the Tigers and the Rangers. Tigers win 3-2. 2 in the top of the 6th, and they hold on to that lead. Scooble gets the win. Player of the game, 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. All right, and the Tigers and Twins will start off the ALCS in Minnesota. And the Twins lose 8-0. The Tigers already played 9 games between the wild card and the championships or the division series. Bailey Ober goes 8 innings, 2 hits, no earned, no walks, and 11 strikeouts. All right, the NL's ready to play their game 1. But first, let's go to the AL for game 2. Twins win 3-2, taking a 2-0 series lead. And the Mets lose 8-3. Cubs take the early lead in the NLDS. Or NLCS, sorry. All right, the A's on a travel day. Mets looking to tie the series back up at 1 apiece. And the Mets win 3-2. Wheeler does get the win. Nunez the save. Ohtani went yard. Drove in 2 of those 3 runs. Okay, AL playing their game 3. Twins up 2-0. And the Twins win 1-0. 4-hit shutout in a pitcher's duel. The 1 run was scored in the 2nd inning. Minnesota looking to sweep the Tigers. And they do, winning 4-3. They'll get plenty of rest as the NL battles it out. Series tied at 1. 8-1. Peterson gets the win. Advances to 2-0 with a 1.93 postseason ERA. Vientos is the player of the game after hitting a home run. Went 3 for 5 with 3 RBI and 3 runs scored. Alonso also went yard twice, 2 for 4, 4 RBI, 2 runs scored on those 2 home runs. All right, AL is on a travel day. The Mets lead 2-1. Mets win again, this time in 12 innings, 5-3, scoring 2 in the top of the 12th. Mets take a 3-1 series lead. All right, game 5. Mets hoping to close out the Cubs. And they do, winning 5-0, shutting out the Cubs. Ohtani goes 3 for 4 with a home run. Chris Sale, no earned runs over 7 1/3, 8 hits, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts. All right, let's finish today. Travel day for the NL, and travel day for everybody as we set up the World Series. And looks like the Mets will have the home field advantage this World Series. It's Ober versus Wheeler in Game 1. Mets win 6-4, including 4 runs in the bottom of the 7th. Added insurance run in the 8th and won 6-4. Vientos 2 for 2 with a home run and 2 walks. Twins win 11-4. Despite Judge going 3 for 4 with 2 home runs, the Mets lose, tying the series at 1. Travel day, as we head to Minnesota. Twins win 7-4. The Mets are now down 2-1. Mets lose again on the brink of elimination, trailing 3-1. That's a rough loss, 8-7. They made it close by scoring 3 in the top of the 9th, but couldn't quite get there. All right, Mets trying to force a Game 6. Mets lose 6-4. They do not win the World Series. The Twins win in 5. Wow. Mets are gonna Met. Even if you add Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, Chris Sale, and Zach Wheeler. Not just add them, but take them away from their respective teams. The Mets are still gonna lose the World Series. Mets gonna Met. Unbelievable. I mean, totally believable, actually. Man, that just goes to show the true nature of the Mets. You add those four players to any other team, but the Mets, they're going to lose the World Series. So the other thing I've been looking forward to doing in OTP26 is taking over the 2024 White Sox. Most realistic simulator of all time. Yes, I believe so. Xavier Edwards batting and stolen bases aside, the Mets' postseason performance makes it an incredibly accurate simulator, I believe. So yeah, tomorrow we'll play one of the games with the 24 White Sox. Claydog was going to officially declare OTP26 officially bugged if the Mets won. That's fair. All right, let's give away some packs. Oh, wait. We can't do it yet. We have to do postseason awards. Forgot about that. Let's finish the day. Let's save the game. Let's go to the mailbox. And Great Glove Awards. 1096 game score. Wow, I'm an OOTP god for 1096. Then what is Smiley Face Jane with an 1800? All right, let's go to the Great Glove Awards. Oh, Smiley Face Jane, are you going to stream tonight? Great Glove Awards. Okay, no stream from Smiley Face Jane. Where? Okay. Oh, we don't have to go. I guess we can just use this inbox. All right, Wheeler wins a pitcher. I always forget to think about the pitcher winning one. Bader in center field and Judge in right field. Aaron Judge winning the Gold Glove in right field. Nicely done. All right, reliever of the year. Do we have a candidate here? Diaz had 20. Oh, we went with stoppers too. So Diaz only had 22 saves. With a 5.44 ERA? Jeez, Diaz. Wow. Reed Garrett with a 9.17 ERA. He of the 80s stuff. Man. All right. Well, we're not going to get any votes in reliever of the year. Marcel Iglesias of the Braves unanimously wins the reliever of the year. 12-1 with 34 saves. 12-1? What were the Braves doing that he went 12-1? Holy cow. 1.25 ERA. What was his whip? .92 whip. Yeah, that's a legit season there. All right, let's go to Platinum Stick Awards. We should be good for a handful of these. Alonso at first with 40 home runs. Vientos at third with 36 home runs. Aaron Judge in right. And Ohtani at DH. 326 with 60 home runs and 88 steals. All right. Let's go to Rookie of the Year. I don't know that we have anyone in the running for this, but let's just take a look. Yeah, no Mets on there. Jackson Churio wins it unanimously, getting all 31st place votes. 36 home runs, 131 RBI, 327 batting average. All right, Cy Young Award. Who are our candidates? I mean, Chris Sale won the pitching triple crown. So, one thing we forgot to do was we forgot to go to a four-man rotation. But the back end of our rotation seemed as effective as our front end. 14-2 for Severino. The ERA was a bit high, but maybe would have benefited from having him in the bullpen. But that's on me for forgetting to do that. All right, let's go to the Cy Young Award. Chris Sale wins it. Unanimous winner of the Cy Young Award, 24-4 with a 2.50 ERA. That's quite Dwight Gooden-esque, 24-4. 285 strikeouts in 241 in the third innings. All right, so we did get a Cy Young Award winner. What about MVP? I mean, it could be Judge, it could be Ohtani. Could be Xavier Edwards, right, smiley face, Jane? I think the stolen bases are going to tip it for Ohtani, even though Judge had the batting average. Also just Ohtani more productive too. 60 home runs, 173 RBI versus 49 home runs and 134 RBI for Judge. Judge wasn't even second on his team. Vientos had 138 RBI. All right, so let's see what happens here with the MVP award. Shohei does win it. 326 average, 400 on base percentage, 208 hits, 31 doubles, 11 triples, 60 home runs, and 80 walks. Wow. Aaron Judge did finish second in voting. Lindor finished seventh. And there's Vientos and Bader. Bader even got MVP votes. As did Jose Iglesias with one lone vote. Alonso, too. Nice. That's a pretty impressive season there by Shohei. All right, so I think we've got all of our results now. So, will this team make the playoffs? Everyone got that one correct. Will this team make it to the World Series? We lose Mewtwo. We lose T-Destroyer. Everyone else is still in. Will this team win the World Series? Ken Games, Leopard 119, and Claydog are the ones who guessed that correctly of our survivors. Will player on this team win a Cy Young Award? We did get a Chris Sale, and only Claydog guessed that right. So Claydog takes first place. All right, next up, will the battle team win the MVP award? Yes. Shohei won it. So Ken Games and Leopard 119 solo. Now I did say that the wins would be the last question before the collective tiebreak. So we've unless it's 99, no, even if it's 99 wins or 100 wins, we will have a winner here. But it was significantly more than that. It was 114 wins. So Leopard 119 is going to take it, taking second place. Now let's see who would have won a numerical tiebreak between everybody. What's the highest WAR generated by any of this team's players? We'll start with the pitchers. They tend to have lower WAR. 8.3 for Chris Sale. 11.6 for Aaron Judge. 11.6 is the answer. And Deli Sports and Clay Dog were closest there. What will be the regular season batting average or the player who leads this team in batting? That was 347 by Iglesias. $327 was the highest guess, so 327 takes it. 4 points ahead of Kayaking Santa and Fox Hill. That was Clay Dog again. Regular season ERA. Hundred innings pitch minimum 2.50 by Chris Sale. .5. Clay Dog with a 2.45. Kayaking Santa with a 2.48. Mewtwo 2.56. I think it's the 2.48 by Kayaking Santa. Nice guess. All right. Regular season home runs was 60 by Otani. We got 255s down here. Those are the closest. Clay Dog and Kayaking Santa. Regular season strikeouts. That should be Sale. Sale had 285. Nope. Oh, wow. Kayaking Santa. Amazingly close with 279. Kayaking Santa and Clay Dog dominating these guesses. Regular season OPS leader. What will be their OPS? 1140 by Judge. 1140. The highest guess is going to be the closest guess, which is Clay Dog. And then regular season whip leader. Whip. Minimum 100 innings pitched. Zach Wheeler with a 1.10. Oh, tied with Chris Sale. Both had 1.10. I think it's Ken games. All right, so if it had gone to tie breaks, 1 apiece for Deli Sports and Ken games, 3 for Kayaking Santa, and 4 for Clay Dog. So Clay Dog would have taken the tiebreak. As it is, he already won first place. That's true. It is Clay Dog, but if he put the right name for the OTP ID, he will still get his packs. If he doesn't, I believe the rule states that the stream host may then claim the packs. That's not true. I'm not allowed to get any of my own packs. I don't think. I've never tried. That would be super sketchy, though. All right, first place to Clay Dog. Also would have gotten in the tiebreaker. Kayaking Santa would have come in second in the tiebreak. Very nice guesses there by Kayaking Santa as well. But Leopard 119 comes in second, wins packs again. Have we seen Leopard 19 in the chat, though? I don't know that we have. It'd be nice to hear from them. They've been pretty successful in the pack giveaways, I think. All right, let's go ahead and just save this game, and then we'll look to raid on out of here. Smileyface J not streaming tonight, so we'll have to find another destination. Where are all my usual raid targets? I mean, Sarah would have been done. Oh, it's already 116. But still, there's no Ophi. Let me see if John Lee is live. He does a good piano stream. The thing is, he leaves his stream up, so. Oh, he is live. Oh, he just started streaming too. All right, we're gonna raid into John Lee. This is a rare opportunity. Usually, he's either playing chess or he's running a long a long replay. So this is awesome. All right, we're gonna rate in it. So John Lee Music is someone who he's often in Sarah Mahoney Music's stream. He's a mod there as well, but he also does the music stream. He just plays piano and plays guitar and sings in his stream. Um, and I think he also runs a dueling piano business. But yeah, he's very talented. I watched him do a live learn last night, which is when he listens to the song and then plays along with the song as he's listening for like the first or second time, and it sounded amazing. Like it was unbelievable. That is a talent within a talent for music, I'd say. But thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed that stream. It's like a musical fight club. Yeah, they just hit each other with concert grand pianos. They just smash each other over the head with giant pianos. I mean, I've been to a dueling piano club in Seattle. It was pretty fun. They have like two big pianos set up, and the pianists are on either side of the stage. And I forget how. I think it's like people submit requests, and it's like who can play the. I don't remember how it worked. I don't know how John's works either, um, but I remember having a really good time there. But Nolan Network, thank you for the raid to get us started today. There's only one rule: you don't sing about Fight Club. Nice, nicely done, Jane. There's one across from one of your favorite dive bars in college. Heard plenty of it. Smoking cigs outside. That's interesting. That's a different mental image for me than I had of Clay Dog. I did not picture you smoking. All right, let's do. Yeah, so I was in Ophie's chat 2 nights ago, maybe, or it must have been. Oh, it could have been last night. I didn't stream because I wasn't. I was busy and wasn't feeling. But I was listening to the stream while I was taking care of all that IRL stuff, and I mentioned something about being Japanese, and several people are like, "My mind is blown. Franchise Time Machine is Japanese." Even the vaping, Clay Dog, I would not have guessed. Um, I don't know why. I don't know why I thought that, but all right. So let's raid. I'm sure just like Ophie's chat didn't know why they just assumed I wouldn't be. I mean, I guess there's no reason to assume I would be Japanese if you only ever heard bits of my stream. But all right, let's raid into John Lee Music. I hope I spelled that right. Let me check. Let me double check. But yeah, he does a super fun stream too. So it's I say it's like even more high energy than Sarah's. But I like them both quite a bit. All right, I will be on tomorrow night a little bit earlier than most nights because we follow Ezra, who follows TJ, and everything tends to start a little earlier on Tuesdays. I think I might do this again with the 24 White Sox. I've been really looking forward to playing with them, so I think that'll be fun. And Spyfish In, I hope you stream some night this week. It'd be great to raid into you again.